Hello, this is Pastor Jason with Love in the Truth, and we are glad that you've joined us here today for this devotional. This afternoon we're talking about the death of Lazarus, and this is found in John chapter 11. If you remember this story, this is where Jesus has been approached by people who sent for him. There was a lady named Martha and Mary who were good friends of Jesus. They had a brother named Lazarus. And Lazarus also was a good friend of Jesus, and he fell sick. And so a message was sent to Jesus. It was very urgent. Please come, your friend Lazarus is sick. But it wasn't the type of sickness like the flu or like a cold. It was like a sickness where he's on the verge of death. And Jesus knew it. His disciples didn't, but Jesus knew it. And Jesus decided to stay where he was for 2 more days. Matter of fact, as he's talking to his disciples, he's saying to them, we are going to go back, but we're not going to go back yet. He stays for 2 days. And then he says to them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep. You see, Jesus knew by the time that he received the message that his friend had already died. Falling asleep in the Bible a lot of times is a figurative way to say dead. But I want you to notice the reason behind Jesus delaying to go see Lazarus. Notice what he says here in verse 4. When he heard this, he said to his disciples, the sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now that's the topic for us today, the glory of God. I want you to imagine this. Your loved one is sick, and you're alive during Jesus' time. You've seen him raise the dead. You've seen him heal people. You've seen people's arms that were withered restored. You've seen him walk on water. I mean, you've seen these amazing things. And you tell him, I've got someone with terminal cancer, and they're in an ICU, and they're in a medical coma, and they're not going to hang on. And he goes, okay, I'll get to it when I can. And what would your response be? Like, you must not love me. You must not care about me. And I know as humans, we often have those thoughts in our mind about God. But God is so much bigger than we are. Jesus says here, I'm not going to go to Lazarus. And by the way, later on in this section, he says Lazarus has already died even when he received the message. He knew Lazarus was dead. He delayed going because of the glory of God. And that's just it. You know, once I had a friend, as a matter of fact, they're still my friends. I just don't live near them anymore. Shauna and Jeremy. And Shauna and Jeremy Smith, they have a little boy. And they actually have 3 kids, but their youngest boy is named Sawyer. And I had Jeremy preach for me once, and in a sermon he preached about their journey with Sawyer. You see, Sawyer has spina bifida. He had a hole in his spine. And before he was born, the doctors came to Shanna and Jeremy and they said, you know what, your son will never be able to walk. He'll never be able to talk. He probably won't ever be able to eat on his own and won't be able to go to the bathroom on his own. You probably need to consider abortion. And Shanna and Jeremy, because of their religious convictions, because they are Christian and pro-life and believe that abortion in that case would be murder, they thought, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to trust God and have hope. And they ended up giving birth to Sawyer. And Sawyer, lo and behold, he does walk with crutches. He does talk. He does eat by himself. He's not ever going to be like you and me, but he's beautiful. And I remember this, when Jeremy got up and preached, he said, when he was wrestling with God about all this, he said it was because of God's glory that Sawyer was born, and he looked at it as God gave me this boy because he knew my wife and I would be honored and be able to take care of him. You see, he saw it as an honor, and that glorified God. I think in our lives, God's glory is there whether we recognize it or not. You might have lost a loved one, but there is a purpose in the losing of a loved one, and the purpose is always going to be served by the glory of God. And so my hope and prayer for you today is you and I can get to a place of peace where we trust that God will always do what's right and according to his glory, even when we don't know all the reasons why. God bless you.